Hi, welcome again, and today we are going to learn about conditional probability. Let me write here. We looked at a number of probability rules, and one is conditional. And so we said let event A and B, so let A and B be events, and therefore we can write, let's say, probability of A. We can write it as probability of A, and also probability of B can be written as probability of B. So if A depends on B to occur, meaning that A is a function of B, then we can say that in terms of probability, we can say probability of A given B occurs. That's how we can express conditional probability. And in this case, the formula for conditional probability is probability of A and B, or we can call it A times B, or A intersection B, divided by probability of B. So that is actually the formula for this conditional probability, which says that the probability of A given B occurs. So once we have this, we can look at an example which can help us to understand this formula. So assume we have a kiosk, and so we call Enos kiosk, and let's consider values, and we're going to look at items which we are selling at this kiosk. We have Coke, and also we have Pepsi, and then we have other types of sodas, and so finally we have the margins. We can say the totals, and here we may have gender, or we have girls, and also we have boys, and so here we can also have margins or the totals. So let's assume that the total number of boys and girls that attend Enos kiosk are 52. And so we can distribute this 52 into 2. Let's say we have, if boys are 30, then what is the remaining? And so the remaining here will be 22, right? So in this case, we take 22 plus 30, we have 52. So these are the margins or the totals for the number of girls and number of boys who are our customer, and they make 52 in total. So let's see, out of this 22, how many girls drink Coke? Assume 6 will drink Coke. And how about boys? Let's say out of the total, 17 17 drink Coke. So we need to look at the total. We can put equal sign and then type sum, or meaning that we're going to add these two values. And so if you can enter, you can see we have 22 Coke. And so we have 22 Coke, where 6 will go with the girls and 17 are boys. So let's put another value here. Let's say 14 out of 22 girls who drink Pepsi. And let's say 10 out of 30 boys drink Pepsi. So let's find the summation, and that will be 14 plus 10, and the answer is 24. So since the number of girls is 22, 14 drink Pepsi and 6 drink Coke, so the remaining will drink other types of soda. So we know the remaining is 2. So that's the total we have for girls, meaning that 6 girls will prefer Coke, 14 Pepsi, and 2 others. And so they make the total of 22. So the same we can do here. 17 plus 10 will be 27, and the remaining will be 30. So that means 3, meaning that the remainder will drink other types of sodas, and so that will make it a total of 30. Now in this case, so we can find the number of students who drink other types of soda, and so we'll take the total, and so we can put equal sign and type sum, and that will be adding the 2, and so we have 5. So you can see the margins for Coke. These are the margins for Coke, Pepsi, and other types of soda. We have 23, 24, 5, and 52 is the grand total. And we can also see the margins on the other side for the number of girls and boys. And all of them will make 50. So these are units. We're expressing this in terms of units. And let me highlight that. So we can transform this to probability. And let me copy and just paste here. So we're going to express these values into probability. And so let's see, here we have 52, and so we will take 6 out of 52, out of total. And so I'm going to put equal sign and click on 6, divide by the total, which is 52, and therefore we get this probability. Let me put it into decimal points. Let me double click here, and I'm going to lock down this 52 so that each value will be dividing by 52, and that will give us the probability. So to lock this down, I will put the mouse there and click F4, so you can see that we have So we have $sign on both sides. So it depends on which cell you are at, but all you have to do is just to put the $sign around it, and that will be for the total, the grand total. And so now you can enter, and we will get 12. And so we can actually copy the formula down, and also we can copy the formula all through. And you can see this will be 1, because it will be 52 divided by 52. So we are taking each value here to divide by 52. Probably let me do that. So let me remove this. So let's go with the boys. Just put equal sign, and you can click on 17 divided by 52, and you will get that probability. And here as well, in fact, we could add that probability, but let's do this. Click on 23 divided by 52. So we have 0.44. In fact, we could as well sum the probabilities. And so you could sum these two probabilities and enter, and so you will get this value. And you will also take the Pepsi divided by 52, all the values, and then get all the values divided by 52, so you get probability in each of this. So as I said, you don't have to do manually. All you can do is grab here, drop down, and take it all through, across. And so you can see we have probabilities for all. And so this one will be 1. So if you add Coke, Pepsi, and others, remember we learned about the additional probability rule. So if you add this and those are the only available items, then the probability will be 1. If we have only girls and boys, so if you add the 2 probabilities, you will get 1. So in this case, we may answer a number of questions after we have created this. So let me just pose one question. So what is the probability of selling, let's say, Coke, given that the customer is a girl? So in this case, remember our condition, we always look for the condition. So we have probability of A given B occurs. So in this case, we can see condition is to sell Coke given that the customer is a girl. So in terms of probability, we'll say it is a probability of Coke given that the customer is a girl. And so if you are asked this question, what will be your answer? People may think because we have Coke and girls here, then the probability will be 0.12, and that is not true. It is not true because we need to consider this formula. So let me add to this. So put equal sign and write probability of Coke and girl divided by the probability of a girl. So let me explain this. So we are looking at possibility of selling Coke given the customer that walks in is a girl. And so we are going to, it will be the probability that Coke and girl will be there. And that is this one we call joint probability or intersection between Coke and girls divided by probability of a girl, of girls. So so in this case, let me do this. So in this case, we are going to take probability or the joint probability between Coke and girls. Sorry. So we are going to, let me put equal sign, and so we'll take the joint probability between Coke and girls, which is this one here. And then I'm going to divide by the probability of girls. And so we have this margin, which gives us the probability of customers to be girls. So it is 0.42. Let me click there. And actually, that is the answer. So we can say there is 27% chance that we will sell Coke if given that the customer is a girl. So we can look for another kind of question. So let's look for the boys. So let's say, what is the probability of selling, let's just go with the Coke, given that the customer is a boy. So what is the probability of selling Coke given that the customer is a boy? So first of all, we are going to take probability, and you can see our condition is boys. So we have Coke and boys. And remember, we're going to use the same formula. So we are going to look at the joint probability between between boys and Coke divided by probability of boys. So if that's the case, then we know the joint probability between boys and Coke is 0.33. So I'll put equal sign and click on 0.33, and that will be dividing by the probability of boys, which is 0.54. So I'm going to click and enter. And so we have 0.757, meaning that there is 57 chance that we will sell Coke given that the customer that comes in is a boy. So we can try one more example. So let's say if a customer that walks in is a girl. So if a customer that walks in is a boy, or let's say is a girl. So what is the probability of selling? What is the probability of selling soda given that only Coke is available? So we're looking at the possibility of selling soda given that only Coke is available and the customer that walks in is a girl. So here we have a customer who walks in, and that is a girl. So our condition is that only Coke is available. Only Coke is available. So in this case, we are looking at probability of girls and Coke, because Coke is our condition. So in this case, we have the joint probability between girls and Coke divided by the probability of Coke, because we know Coke is our condition. So in this case, we are going to look at the joint probability between girls and Coke. Girls and Coke is 0.12. So it is 0.12 divided by the probability of Coke on its own. So this is actually a probability of Coke. So if you can click and enter, so you will get 0.26. So let's consider another example. And let's assume that if the customer walks in is a girl, what is the probability of selling soda if Coke and ginger are not available. What is the probability of selling soda if Coke and so we're not considering ginger this time, we are considering Pepsi. Sorry about that. So if the customer walks in is a girl, what is the probability of selling soda if Coke and Pepsi are not available? So that means we have other types of soda. So we can write this as probability, and first of all we have to determine the condition. So we are selling soda if Coke and Pepsi are not available. So that's the condition. And here, if Pepsi and Coke are not available, the probability of having other sodas will be 0.1. So our condition will be others. And so the probability of selling soda if a customer that walks in is a girl. So we can say probability of girls drinking soda if only other types of sodas are available. So in this case, we can also find the joint probability between girls, customer, and others divided by the probability of others. So we'll find it by putting equal sign, find the joint probability of girls and others, which will be 0.04 divided by this probability of others. And close the bracket and enter. And that will be 0.4. Okay, so that's all with the conditional probability that we learned.